JCPR sat down with City Council candidate Joey Moreno to discuss some of the policies he's running on. During the public forum, your fellow candidates said their biggest worries for Pico Rivera is the influx of homelessness and the future of Pico Rivera's youth. You said the budget is your biggest concern. How bad is our city finances?
Right now, our current state and our finances are not bad, but we are going in a direction that leads to a budget deficit. If we keep spending the way we're spending, we will end up being in a budget deficit. I say that because currently this year we dipped 1.5 million in reserves. We took from our emergency fund and we paid for maintenance and operations, and that shouldn't have happened. We shouldn't be using emergency funds to pay for maintenance and operations for City Hall. The time we use emergency funds is basically when there is something that's going to put our community at risk. Something that deals with infrastructure is usually when we should dip into reserves. Secondly, the council felt that they should have got a car and phone allowance, and two of my candidates, Gregory Salcido and Brent Tercero, voted no on receiving a car allowance, and Barbara Chuleta voted yes on receiving a car allowance. And that was a huge issue to me, because if we're dipping in emergency funds, we shouldn't be giving out luxuries. So that was a huge concern for me, because we need to, be steadfast. We need to really look at our finances and cut back on unnecessary things, and I felt that the car and phone allowance was unnecessary at this moment, was unnecessary to give out, especially being that we dipped 1.5 million reserves. And thirdly, we need to really consider, the city of Pico Rivera needs to really consider the retirement plans. And we have two retirement plans. We have OPEB and we have CalPERS. And this year, based on the GASB Act, we're gonna have to disclose those retirement plans on our financials. And OPEB is at about roughly 35 million, and CalPERS is about 37 million. So that's gonna have to be disclosed on our financials. And being that we have to disclose our unfunded liability, that's gonna lower our bond ratings, our ability to borrow money. And this year we did nothing to be proactive in lowering our debt to CalPERS, and that's what I was concerned about. So as far as our current status of our budget, it's not a huge serious deal yet, but the road we're heading to is the road to a budget deficit. So the best thing we can do is mid-year fix the discrepancies, adjust our spending, and we will take ourselves out of that road heading to a budget deficit. So that was my main concern for the budget, and I feel that currently our status is not good, but it's not bad. It's in the middle, and we need to watch out how we're spending our money, because I know as a community we wouldn't want our budget to fall into a budget deficit.
You mentioned during the forum that we were paying our city manager too much considering his level of education and previous employment. Do you believe there's a lack of oversight in choosing high position employees and the amount they're paid?
When it comes to the city manager's salary, I mean, it could be seen as I'm attacking his character because that is his salary, but I'm not attacking his character. I'm attacking how much he's being paid based on the experience that he has. Currently, he's making $228,800, which is a good price, but for his experience, what he's bringing to the table, I believe is not worth the amount we are paying. Because an example being is our previous city manager held a PhD as well as a master's degree and had 40 years of experience as a city manager. And he worked for the city for 3 years and never received a raise. And during his 3 years in Pico Rivera, the last year and a half, he decided to retire and work for the city for free. So, in essence, he came in making $220,000 a year, and without receiving a pay. And what he brought to us is he had many experience on the transportation board, and he was able to bring $79 million for our underpass project in Durfee, which I felt was worthy enough to receiving a pay increase. Bobadilla has been here for a year, and in my opinion, he hasn't brought enough to the table to receive a raise. And it's not that I think he's a bad city manager. I honestly think it's just, if it was anybody in that position with that type of experience, we shouldn't be paying that premium amount. we should be paying a less amount based on qualifications, because the city manager position and their pay is based on qualifications, and I feel that his qualifications is not to the standards of a $228,800 city manager.
Can you talk about how you want Pico Rivera to address the water crisis the state is currently going through?
With the water crisis, I mean, that's a topic that's going across the board in all cities, and it's an issue that we all have to address. But the only way we can address that issue is as a group, as a community, as the community of Pico Rivera. And the crisis is bad. I mean, here in Southern California, we have no reservoir that captures our water. So basically, when El Nino comes, or when we have high volume of rain, we're not capturing any of it to benefit the community. So our best bet is to take this issue and start from the beginning. So taking it to its lowest competent level and educating our community on strategies they can take to conserve water. I know in our family, we've learned what we call as a sailor shower, which is basically, you know, you go into the shower, you rinse yourself, you turn off the water, you scrub yourself, turn on the water to rinse off. Little methods like that can help conserve water in the city of Pico Rivera. But as far as handling it, I believe that we need to start off by educating our community and letting them know different methods in conserving water before we take a huge leap and start putting fines and restrictions. And let's give our community the benefit of the doubt and see that we can conserve water on the basis of our own knowledge.
Okay, so final question. Do you feel private citizens or business influence is currently affecting some council members' decisions?
With that question, that's a tough question, because if that was going on between the council, that's something that would usually happen behind closed doors. It would never be seen in the public eye. So as far as that question be, the only way I can comment or know of that type of situation that's going on is if I am on council. So as far as individuals or businesses having influences in the decisions, unfortunately I can't give a clear answer, because that's usually something that's hidden. It's unethical, but it's hidden. But I do want to emphasize that when making your decision for your candidate for the city of Pico Rivera City Council, base your decision on the decisions they're making for the community. Don't base your decision on personality, because I mean, we can have candidates have the best personality, but if their decisions are not for the city of Pico Rivera, in an essence, they have no business being on council, because their decisions matter more than their personalities. And their decisions are what's really going to make a huge impact in the city of Pico Rivera. So I ask that you base your decision on November 3rd on facts and on votes that they have voted for the city of Pico Rivera, rather than if they attended all the events at Smith Park, or they've been to every single event Pico Rivera has to offer. That's a good quality to have, but we need council members that can do that, but as well make the right decision.